CIDRZ is a key partner in conducting local research, as well as participating in global network research trials.
Kalingalinga Clinical Research Site was under Adult Clinical Trial Group network, and we were looking at the co-infection of TB and HIV. I did a few studies that were actually looking at how they could treat TB, and the participants that were co-infected with TB and HIV.
The research work and the studies that we do generate important evidence that we then use to contribute to policy or to contribute to designing how to tackle TB and HIV.
In terms of the vaccines that we have worked with as a unit, we've worked primarily with diarrhea vaccines, which is rotavirus. We've also worked on another diarrhea vaccine, which is enterotoxigenic E. coli. We've also, as part of belonging to the unit and the CIDRZ, having had a strong background in HIV, we've done HIV vaccine trials. We've also done some TB vaccine trials. And now the buzzword is COVID. We are also involved in evaluating COVID vaccines. So we have a study currently running to see how safe and effective COVID vaccines would be in a population that is HIV positive.
We've grown over the last 2 decades to such a big operation within the country, but we've also actually led in this area in the country and build foundation for other laboratories, also including government laboratories, through our collaboration with the government to make sure that there's improved facilities within the country. And we've done great. We've worked with the government to make sure that what we have built in terms of research as a laboratory facility is translated also into patient care. And that is massive.
Early on, CIDRZ identified the need to build capacity of local Zambians to lead the technical, scientific, and administrative solutions needed for our local context.
And that's why we spend a lot of time in career development, professional development, get our scientists through the postgraduate training, through master's program, and through PhD training programs. When I joined CIDRZ, almost 9 years ago, we had 0 Zambians in any PhD program affiliated with CIDRZ. We had PhD fellows or candidates that were non-Zambian and coming to CIDRZ and working with us through our research programs to further their own careers. Currently, we have about 20 PhD candidates, and we've graduated 3 or 4 in the last couple of years. So we've tried to ensure that there's a clear career pathway in terms of how you can become a researcher, an investigator, and grow as a scientist. And the reason for all this is because we recognize that for us to be successful and be relevant or remain relevant to the Zambian government as well as the Zambians, we have to have the right skill set of individuals to do this work. All our funding is through competitive grants. So we go out onto the international space and compete with other organizations. Mostly it's international organizations which may be for-profit or non-profit, and compete for these grants.
The opportunity that I got as a fellow was a really good one. I started off as an HIV Corps fellow. They didn't bother about my experience, even though I did have the experience, they didn't bother about that. I came in, learned about public health in the NGO sector first time. And I was actually given a chance, right? And I think There are many people who have that story who've been given a chance to get involved in CIDRZ through the fellowship programs. But it's not to say that that's the only way. We've also had interns who've helped on certain projects, maybe just after university wanting to learn about procedures or learn, get a little bit of experience before they go out on the job market. And even though they might have not decided to stay here, they've eventually, sort of said, hold on, there's actually a finance team there, there's a finance department, there's internal audit, there's different departments behind what we do as a research institution. And so we've attracted different Zambians, not just for the research side of HIV and everything else that we do, enteric diseases you mentioned, and all the cervical cancer and breast cancer work. And so we've attracted a diverse group of people. But the path that I took, the HIV Corps Fellowship, is one that's attracted a lot of international people. And so being able now to extend that to a lot of Zambians, I can't remember the figure, but 9 to 10 Zambian HIV Corps fellows being put through training where they have a mentor over a course of 10 to 12 months. And that mentor talks you through your career path. What can you do? You get the opportunity to write. You get the opportunity to be involved in analysis. You get the opportunity to actually interview participants and take part in research as a whole. We tend to think it's common, but it's not common. There are very few people who do this work, and there's a lot of people who are really excited about doing this work who come from different countries just to do it. So we're providing that for the Zambian people at home.
Some of the other important things I would say I've learned from CIDRZ is learning how to keep our employees happy, and I think that centers around, the culture of CIDRZ, and that when employees are happy, then they're able to excel and do the important work that we're supposed to do. And so, I have valued that support that I get from CIDRZ. It's a CIDRZ family at the end of the day, and I think we look out for each other, and we have learned how to push each other to excel and become better and grow within our careers as well.
It's been a great platform where you are able to meet various experts in the field. Though CIDRZ is Zambian, but it touches across funders from across different parts of the region. And you get to obviously interact with international collaborators from America, from the UK, and it gave a platform to learn and as well as to grow in the career. So it's been a great platform where you are constantly surrounded by experts in the field, not just within Zambia, but outside the country.